Hey guys, welcome back to For the Girls, brought to you by Relationship Restored. Make sure to subscribe, comment, and let us know what topics you want to talk about. This topic today is actually one that was requested by a follower. We're talking about dating/dealing with men with money. Woo! Cece.
Well,
I think you should kick it off.
Okay,
I was gonna say you want to start.
I will start, guys. Okay, so let's talk about first, what are some of the pros and cons of dating a man with money? Pros, he has money and access, right? So money grants you access to a lot of things.
Yeah.
So you get access to experiences that you may not normally get access to if you weren't dating someone with money. Material goods. It's life. I mean, take it how it is, but life is a little bit easier if you have money, if you have the means. Now, what comes with that are a lot. Depending on the man, he's going to require a lot. First of all, let's talk about if you actually even like this man or not. Mm-hmm. Are you just dating him for his money? Mm-hmm. Then if he's like not cute, but he's just rich, then it's like, I got to tolerate him just to get what I'm looking for. That's a lot. There's a lot that comes with that. Also, if you're not really into him, he's going to expect certain things from you because he knows that there's an exchange. He knows that you're just dating him for what he can provide for you. And so in exchange for that, he's going to want certain things from you, whether it be sexual favors or what have you. So there's also some cons with that. Also, I think when dating a man with money, you have to also understand that sometimes, because these men know that they have access to a lot of women, because a lot of women want to be with a man with money, you may not be the only woman. So that's also another con that comes with that. Now, I'm not saying that all men with money are like this. That's absolutely not what I'm trying to say at all. But those are some of the things to consider. And those have been some of my experiences with some of the previous men that I have dated with money. Now, I am totally here for dating a man with money. Listen, I take this how you want to. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I would rather be with a man with money than a man without money. Now, granted, I feel very blessed because I happen to come across a man that I absolutely love, and he's truly my best friend, and he just happens to have money. But I also don't encourage women, if they're in a space in their life where they're serious about dating, I don't encourage you just to date someone just because of what he can provide for you, or the lifestyle, or the perception of what he can provide for you. Truly date someone, of course, that checks most of the boxes that you are looking for, right? That respects you, that appreciates you, that is actually proving that he's about you. And, if he doesn't have the means that you would like in that moment, what is he doing to get himself there? Now, I understand that there's also like some concern about like the potential man, because I'm not really a fan of like the potential, because I want
a Steve Harvey thing, right? What's the thing? Don't date a man for his potential or something like that.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean, I'm actually not a big fan of dating someone just for their potential, because potential can let you down, right? So I think that if he doesn't have the means, as long as he's actively working,
means potential. Everybody has potential. It doesn't mean anything. It's like,
yeah,
that's
I mean,
weird.
so like, I don't know, girl.
You talking about like someone that has like a business plan, like he's broke, but he's like, but I have this plan. Like,
no,
that
someone who like talks about like if he's broke and he's like, no, but like, I'm an aspiring blah blah blah.
Okay, so yeah,
like, but he's not actually doing what he needs to do in order to get himself there. He's just he just talks the talk, right?
Yeah.
So like that kind of potential you need to shy away from. But if he actually is working it, and he has a 9 to 5, and on his weekends and after hours he's working his business, and he's not where he wants to be yet, but he's working towards it, that's the type of potential that you should invest into.
Yeah.
Because he could very well not have money now, but be very, very well off in the long run, right? So yeah, I think it really looks different depending on where you are, the type of man that you are entertaining, and what you're willing to tolerate with that man.
Pros and cons for you?
So in a past episode, I know we kind of talked about the list thing that I had, and I wanted on my list a man who made money, you know what I'm saying, who had one of those careers known for making money or already had it, whatever. It was on my list. I want a man with money. Right. And so I stated in my in one of a past episode, I crossed that out. I crossed that out and asked God for a man with ambition and drive instead of a man with money. So if we're talking about dating, let's go back to dating. I never really dated a man with money. I'm going to be honest. I never dated college. Of course, they were broke then. After that, when I was dating, we had normal money, like all of us. Now, then I met my husband. He made less than me. He made significantly less than me. But he had a different type of ambition and drive than what I had seen before from other men. And now he probably makes more than me if we're adding it all up, plus his training. So, I mean, but we're not, me and Sean, we're regular money. You know what I'm saying? We're not doctors and lawyers, you know what I'm saying? But we have dreams. We have dreams of building wealth. We're taking steps to get there. So to me, that's a con of dating a man with money. You can't grow with that person.
He's already established.
He's
already done it.
Grow with that person. You know what I'm saying? And another con, and I'll say some pros in a second. I feel like I'm always saying cons. So sorry, men with money. But, another con with dating a man with money is the inequality issue. Like, there's an imbalance. And then when an imbalance comes, oftentimes there might be a power struggle of some sort because of the expectation. He has the money. He has responsibility. So girl, what's your responsibility? Is your responsibility just busting it wide open and being a pretty girl for him?
And a lot of times it is.
And I think that's a con. Going back to pros of dating men with money, they're inspiring, clearly. I mean, obviously they made themselves into something where they were already something. So, obviously men with money have drive. And I'm assuming drive. They have ambition, which is inspiring. So, I just think that topic for me, I always go back to that list where I kind of crossed it off and then I found my husband. And I'm just going to put that out there to women. And then another thing, and I'm not a man. My best friend who's a man is my husband. And we've talked about this before. And he has a lot of friends who have money, who are dating. And what they're looking for is not, they're kind of looking for a woman on the same level as them in this day and age. And he says that specifically because a lot of men with money are already going into situations where they know that the women are dating them for their money. Yes. So they're
not hip.
Yeah.
They know what it is.
So exactly. So they're more so, they'll fuck around with those girls, but they're more so, this is my husband's opinion. I'm not a man. He said that they're more so looking for women to wife that are on the same level or, getting there. Because to them, it takes away the you're dating me to provide type stigma around it, which a lot of them kind of have.
My husband was like that for a while.
But you had your own bag already.
I did. Yeah. I did. But he always thought that he would marry another doctor.
Oh, okay.
Another doctor or lawyer. And I'm not a doctor or lawyer. And I don't make as much as my husband, which sometimes for me, I do feel like there is an imbalance, right? So he sometimes makes comments about like, for instance, we're trying to buy a house and he might make a comment like, well, no one's helping me. I'm the one who has to like provide for everything.
Right.
And I'm like, well, damn. Last time I checked, I'm not a stay-at-home wife. Like, I still work.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's still cooking, cleaning, taking care of this baby, taking care of my parents, also taking care of you, making sure your needs are met. So, like, how am I not helping? Like, maybe I don't help as much financially.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, but he didn't mean to put me down like that. He was just expressing his frustrations about how he was feeling overwhelmed in that moment because he's the primary provider.
Yeah.
So
there's two things I want to talk about. I want to come back to what you just mentioned. Just made me think of how certain people move in their relationships when one person has more or less than money. So don't let me forget that. But I think you guys talked about pretty much all of the pros and cons that I would have mentioned. So instead of talking about pros and cons, I want to challenge the listeners to stop asking for a man that has money and start looking for a man that has provision, because provision doesn't come just from finances, right? It's not just financially. It's financially, physically, emotionally, mentally. And I think there's issues when a woman dates a man that has money and he provides in that aspect, but he's not providing the mental, the emotion, the physical aspect. So you're left with this imbalance of, okay, he's doing this, but all the things that really matter, he's not doing. And here's the thing. You are not capable of pleasing yourself emotionally, mentally, and physically from another person, right? You have to physically get that from someone else. But financially, you can make your own money. And one thing that I struggle with is when I see phenomenal women that it's like you have everything that you really could ask for. You're beautiful. You have a great personality. You're loving. You're kind. You're thoughtful. You're all of these things, and you're forcing yourself to only date men within a certain like bracket of finances, which to me makes no sense, because you're getting rid of all these normal, regular, great fucking guys that might not
would treat
have
you way
seven
better.
figures, but they are in a space where even if you take your income and their income, you can build together. And I'd much rather be happy than to just be with somebody because they're handling some of my needs. The mental, emotional, and physical is way more than financial, because financial you can create. Like, you can literally determine how you make money as a couple, what things you invest in, and like how you guys are going to support each other. But instead of asking for a man with money, ask for a man with provision, because it's going to come with finances too. Like a man should provide financially, but there's also the mental, emotional, and physical.
Absolutely.
Like, we need all of those things.
Absolutely.
Then I want to talk about what Cece just said. I have noticed, and you guys can talk about your own like experiences within this, but I've noticed women who are in marriages that either their man makes more than them or less than, or whatever. They don't make an equal amount, and they have their own money, so to speak. Like, they have their own account, so they have their own money, and then they like pitch in on bills, which at the end of the month, if you make different incomes, it leaves one person having a lot more money than the other person. And I think that's so unfair. If you're in a marriage, it's a team thing. There's no reason why there should never be a month where I have $5,000 I can spend and do as I please, and Dre's left with $500 because he didn't make as much as me this month. What is your guys' experience with that? Because I feel like in a marriage, when you're at some points, you know, Cece, you might get to the point where you are making more than Shane.
I'm hip.
It might be to the point where Shane has to take a full break. I think that's what is
going to happen, and so does Shane.
It's like it changes, and same thing with Angela and Sean. Sean is working really hard on his business right now. What happens when, you know, he goes from making less than to making quadruple the amount? It's like, you in your household should never feel the difference of income, like instability, because it's everyone's income. And what are your guys' thoughts on that?
People handle their finances differently, so I'll let y'all explain the way Sean and I do it, and have always done it since we got married, and what has worked for us, because we were doing some trial and error stuff when we were engaged, and this is what kind of works for us. All of our income from our 9 to 5 goes into a joint account. All the bills are paid from there. And then from there, we give equal amounts, depending on the month, to our personal accounts. We manage our money the way that we want. We were just laughing now because my husband went and bought a camera that I did not know was the price that it was until DeAndre.
Like, this is our money.
was still trying to protect his friend. He gave me a range, but that range was not what I thought. Anyway, regardless, it was his money to do what he wants with.
Yeah.
Now, we both have our own businesses. I have my dance business. He has his personal training business. They don't make an insane amount of money. We both put a certain amount from our businesses into our savings, and then he takes his money from personal training. He does stuff with it, which has afforded him the opportunity to surprise me with things that I want.
Oh, yay.
At the same time, I take the money from my business and I put it into my savings, which has allowed me to kind of get more of my renovation the way that I want it. And Sean's like, what the hell? And I was like, we're fine. This is all fine. All of this
He's
is
like,
right here.
another plant, Angela.
But we just, that's in recent because our businesses have just started kind of growing, but it doesn't, our main money is our 9-to-5 business, our 9-to-5 jobs, and they all go into the same pot, and we've been doing this since we married. We pay all the bills from there. Some goes to his account, the same goes to my account.
That's what
we manage. If I want Chipotle and it's in that account, I can do it. If I want to get my nails done 4 times that month, it's in there. I have to manage it the way I want. If Sean wants to buy a fucking $2,000 camera, it's in his account. So it also gives us that autonomy as well. So that's just the way we do it. I know couples do it differently. My parents, my dad handled all the living, the house, the utilities. My mom did everything kids. And I know a couple who does that now. Like she paid for ballet, she paid for school supplies, clothes and stuff. So that's how they did it.
That's kind of how we are.
Yeah.
So we do not have a joint account. That's not because we don't want one. We just
It's working.
It's just working.
working.
It's working how it's working right now, right? So the way that we have it structured is that I pay for like all like the stuff in the house and for Capri. So I buy the groceries. I take care of whatever Capri needs. I typically take care of all that. And then I take care of whatever I want for myself. Shane takes care of the rent. He takes care of the utilities. He takes care of typically the bigger ticket items.
Yeah.
Now I do chip in on the rent, but I'll just Venmo him however much we agreed on. It's like we have an agreement. I'll send him X amount for the rent. It's not equal at all. Like I give him, honestly, it really just pays for our fucking parking in our parking garage. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not equal, but neither is our income. So, but that was our agreement. I pay him this amount. I take care of all of these expenses, and then whatever is left over is for me to do whatever I want with. Yeah. But also, like because he makes a significant amount of money more than me, he also does most of the investing, right? So we have investment accounts that he's able to put thousands of dollars into each month that I wouldn't be able to do for like 5 months, you know? So, but that money is still ours because we are married. We are a union. Yeah. So we don't really view it as like, this is your money, this is my money. Also, I love to gift. So I buy a lot of my man's clothes. Like anything that you guys see Shane wearing
him.
Or matching, maybe matching.
I picked it out and typically I paid for it, right?
See, but here's the thing. You would never go in need. There's not going to be a month where you call me and you're like, Brie, can I borrow $500? Because
oh, no, never.
Like, because y'all, it's like if you needed something, he would cover
you guys, there's many times he'll just Venmo me $2,000 and be like, here you go. Because like, for instance, I wanted to buy more stocks for my investment account, and he just gave me $2,000 for it.
Yeah, no, I think what I was trying to say is that there's relationships I've seen where the two people have like they're living different lifestyles as if like they're not contributing to each other's lifestyles. Like I've seen like where a wife is like asking their husband to borrow money, and I'm like, borrow
money,
and like totally separate. Like what I make is mine, what you make is yours.
Damn, that's
that imbalance.
Not in like a legally it's theirs, but like I've just seen that where it's like it's obvious that the person who makes less, like they're living a slightly less better lifestyle.
I don't understand that.
And it's like so odd.
We are married. It is our money.
Yeah.
Does that, you guys think that came from dating a man with money and like the imbalance that it might have created? Or it's just, you know,
I don't know
how they've communicated and got to that
No,
point.
I think that has to be a them thing.
That's a them thing.
Yeah.
I
It's like
agree.
you gotta find what
I
works
agree
for
because
you,
I'm pretty sure not
and-
all, like, again, not all men with money are probably like, here, like, you can borrow this or you can have this to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure not all men with money are, you know, withholding or controlling the people that they're with their money, you know? I'm pretty sure there's men out there who see someone that doesn't make as much money as them as their equal in a different light. But there are men out there who know and expect that women are coming to them
for their money, for the access that their money can provide for them. And that can create a very toxic situation.
Yes, yeah.
Because when you are in a situation like that, where you are the woman who really is dating him because of what he can provide, he knows that and he's going to expect certain things. And also he's going to treat you differently. He's going to treat you differently because he knows that you don't value him in a way other than what he can provide for you. So he's not going to value you in any other way of what you can provide for him. Yeah. And that's typically in some type of favors.
Yeah. And so let's talk about this, because this is something that I've seen. I know we all have seen. And it's like, ooh, it's a tough situation. When a man and a woman get together, right? They're younger, they're dating, they get engaged, they get married. And then all of a sudden, one of the individuals has a glow up. They start making a lot more money. They're popping, they're known. And it's almost like the other person is left in the shadows.
Yes.
It normally ends in divorce because one person is kind of put up on a pedestal and starts to look at the other, like, especially when as men, because men will start to look at the caliber of women that now this money and
now
this,
they have access
that reminds me, it's like
them.
these basketball players before they become pro, their girl before they became pro is left to dust after they get drafted.
A baddie to have
and
her body
then
done in
the new girl is like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hot mama. It's like they go out and they get the trophy.
It's like they know it.
I mean, and it's unfortunate, but that
unfair.
is the reality. It's so unfortunate, but that is the reality. That's why I'm a huge advocate for not getting married until your 30s, where you've had time to navigate your career and kind of like have your own individual glow up, and then find someone that you're equally yoked with, because that is a very big reality, and it's unfortunate, but that really does happen.
I'm an advocate for the equally yoked.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you grow together, you build together. It's nothing like that feeling. It's nothing like that feeling when me and Sean can go 50-50 on this house.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing like, you know, you can buy Alina shoes today and then I'll buy them next week. There's nothing like you pay for daycare this month and I got it. There's nothing like that. Like when you know that person's got your back. And then if you slip and fall because of the foundation y'all have built, you know that person's going to support you.
100%.
Because
100%.
they know you're going to come back.
And
it's going to be a bounce back.
100%. And even with my situation where technically financially we're not equally yoked because my husband makes significantly more than me. When my husband met me, though, I was already hustling. I was already figuring it out, trying to figure it out. And I'm still hustling, trying to figure it out, right? And so, yes, he makes more than me now, but he's always made this joke that, like, in a few years, I'm going to be like, oh, my husband, he's just a dentist. and
I'm here for it.
But we are okay with that because we're also still in a space where, yes, my husband makes great money, but we're still building. Like, we are by no means like multi-millionaires yet, but we're building towards that, you know? Yeah. And also, I provide a lot of things that my husband doesn't innately have. For instance, yes, he has the capital, but he doesn't have the organizational, administrative, analytical mind that I have, right? So when it comes to our investments, I'm typically the one doing the technical analysis to determine what investment is a good investment. How long should we hold this property? Should we flip it? Should we, what do we need to do to make sure that our money is really working for us?
So even when you mentioned, you were like, Shane makes more than me, but like I cook, I clean, I take care. It's like there's no like lesser value of what you guys are providing.
And
why don't you go buy a cook? Why don't you go buy a maid? All of that is going equal up.
He absolutely realizes that. Yeah. And my statement earlier when he made that comment about like no one's helping me, he was just saying that in a moment of frustration because
we got it.
Understandably, shout out to all the men who are the providers. I see your struggle, and I know that there is a heavy burden on you guys, and I don't want to like downplay that because I totally recognize that.
Yeah.
But he also came back and was like, you know what, baby, I apologize for that. Like, I know how hard you work. If anything, you work harder than I do, right? Because you're doing bung, 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 right? So he sees that and he's aware of that. And that's what makes us such a great team because it's not like, oh, like we're trying to like one up each other. It's like we're both working hard at this equally.
Yeah. Like for example, I want to bring this up like as an example. So when you get pregnant, the natural instinct of the mother is to do what?
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I'm like, I haven't been pregnant.
When you're about to have your baby, what does the woman start doing?
Becoming maternal. I don't know where we're going with this.
Nesting.
Oh, okay. I was not gonna say that.
Yeah. Getting the house together. Yes, it's an actual nest.
I'm like,
okay.
Me were over here like,
I saw you were putting up wallpaper.
100%.
It's a natural instinct.
Yes.
It's scientifically proven that is a natural instinct. When I got pregnant, the instinct my husband had was to provide. I gotta get more money. I gotta get a job.
That was
what
Shane.
does Shane do?
Yep. Yeah.
If there's some natural
started working harder
that happened there. Is one greater than the other?
Right. No.
They both work in tandem.
They have to
raise this person.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So I think we can't forget that there is a balance to all of that. And, sometimes there are pros and cons with dating men with money. I'm not saying don't, but one thing to be aware of is that an imbalance can be created there if the person doesn't recognize that you have the same amount of value as his value.
Can I say this? Also, okay, so for my sisters out there who don't necessarily want to date a regular dude without money, okay? Understand, because we all want to live a nice lifestyle. You don't have to try to go out there and catch a baller, right?
Yeah.
Because that's going to produce an unhappy lifestyle long term for you, because he's not going to be as faithful and loyal as you would like him to be. Now, if you are looking for a great, phenomenal, normal man that's still making great money, maybe change where you're hanging out. Change the circle you're hanging out with. Change the spots that you frequent, right? So like,
that's a good piece of advice.
There's a lot of phenomenal, smart men with technically normal jobs that make great money.
Yeah.
I mean, great money. They are doctors, pharmacists, lawyers, they're consultants. They don't have like this sexy entrepreneurial job, or they're not athletes, they're not rappers, but they are phenomenal men, educated, they're hustling, hardworking, they're ambitious, and they get to their fucking bag.
Yeah. And
so sis might need to change your environment.
Change that, but also look at you.
Absolutely.
What are you doing?
You
might not need to make as much money as a doctor or whatever, but are you hardworking?
Right.
Are you a hustler?
Right.
Do you have that mindset of moving forward?
You have to be the woman you have to be the type of woman that will attract a man
I always
that you desire to have.
There's like a woman who, I want this man who's super fit. He has abs. He's chiseled. He's that. What about you, sis?
Okay. Are you getting up and going to the gym at 5 a.m.
That's
and doing
what I'm
fasted
saying.
cardio?
Like, that man is attracted to you because y'all share the same thing. And I'm not saying that, you're a lawyer or you're a doctor, one of these professions that are good paying, but not necessarily like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to make that, but do you have that same hard working mentality that never give up? Going through law school and med school, it's hoop jumping. You can't, you cannot. The people who make it to the end are the ones who get through and work hard. You know what I'm saying?
Work hard.
They work hard. Do you have that? Do you have that to match that person?
Yeah.
Because
And
they're looking for that.
Me and Cece told a friend this recently. We were like having a conversation about dating men with money. And one thing that I kind of talked about was I'm a firm believer that God will not give you something that you're not ready for.
Yes.
And what I was trying to tell her was like, you don't have to lower your standards of what you want in a man. However, you do have to change your heart.
Exactly.
And you have to change what you're asking for. And again, asking for, I want a man that makes X amount of money versus saying, I want a man who's going to provide for me. It's the same thing, but it's showing God that there's a difference in your heart. It's that you know, and God knows your heart. God knows you want a fine man. He knows you want to be taken care of. But if you're constantly showing up and praying for the wrong things, God's looking at you. He's like, baby girl, you haven't gotten it yet. You don't understand that I'm not going to give you something that you're going to mess up. And the coin that I used was, if you can't manage $100, why would God give you $1 million? So if you can't manage, yourself, what makes you think God's going to give you this phenomenal man? Because all that's going to happen is it's going to be a tease. You're going to be shown exactly what you could have, and you're going to mess it up because you're not ready for that type of commitment, and you're not exuding what that man wants. So if you're not giving what he wants, but you want what he has, you're going to be left poorly mistaken.
Drop them gems.
Come on, Bree. So I think that's something else is, ladies, you don't have to not desire certain things, but you have to get those things out of your heart. We also use the phrase taking the filter away, right? When you put on a filter on somebody, they look a lot better than what they appear to be in reality. And when you look at your heart, when you're looking at people with that filter on, how much money does he make? What shoes is he wearing? What car does he drive? Take that filter off and look at who is that person and what do you need in your life, and stop putting dollar amounts to it, because God ain't never gonna bless you with the things you want if all you're doing is moving in a way where you're not willing to change and grow, but you still feel entitled to the things that you want.
Yes. And then that's a con. That's a con of dating men with money, because you have that filter and you're looking for these men with these cars and these shoes.
Especially if you date one, then you feel like, oh, now I know what I can get.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of men out here who have that stuff, but don't really have the money.
Okay, yes.
So that's a con. If you're only looking for men.
Talk about when they look like they
Girl,
got
if
money.
you're only trying to date men with money, just be aware there are some scammers out there.
Oh, honey, I used to talk to one. Ooh, and I was so in love with this man. Oh, so I thought. And I found out that he spent every little bit of money he scammed on his clothes.
That's what I'm saying. So if you're looking
he
for
was
that,
broke.
you pass over the man with the Target shirt to look at the man with the Gucci shirt. The man with the Target shirt might have a well-diversified portfolio. The man with the Gucci shirt has put it into the Gucci shirt.
His entire life savings in his wallet, and it's only $8,000.
Just be careful if that's what you're looking for. And then I would just point you back over to Bree's advice, what you just said. Take the filter off, because honestly, some of these men are fronting, honey.
Oh, some of them quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Ooh, yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Do any of you have like a personal experience of dating a man with money that you want to talk about?
I haven't.
I know you said
I haven't really have it. So I just
Yeah, girl. So I mean, we all know how I used to live my life. So my experiences of dating a man purely for his money have been very negative and toxic. I did not
listen, guys.
I did not like this man. Actually, he was I just found him like disgusting. I didn't even like him touching me. But he gave me access to so many things. He bought me custom clothing. He bought me like nice material things, and like I was so like toxically stuck in what he could provide for me that I just tolerated him. But it made me feel really icky and gross on the inside
it didn't
because
make you feel good.
not at all, not at all.
Right.
And then that's also what I would say I actually learned a lot from that experience too, because that's what put the fire under my ass to go make my own money, because I never wanted to feel icky like that again, because I was like, why am I putting myself in this situation where I find this man repulsive? Is that the right word? Repulsive. And I don't even want him to touch me. He annoys me anytime he opens his mouth. You know, but I'm sticking around just because he
The access,
the goods. He you know, buys bottles and tables at the
dinners,
club.
stuff,
We flying out to Miami and we're having a great experience, but I fucking hate him. Like, you know, so what? Like, why am I putting myself in this situation time and time again? When I could just go out here and work my ass off, and like, yeah, it won't come as easily, but it'll be more rewarding and I'll actually enjoy it.
Yes, and you'll learn. You just empowered yourself, sis.
Oh, 100%. And then from that is when I started getting on my bag and grinding more and hustling more, and started trying to focus on like, okay, so how can I make this shift? Yeah. And then when I was in that space of just focusing on myself and bettering myself, that's when I found my man.
Yes.
You know, you feel me? And so it was it actually turned out very beautiful because I learned a lot from that situation. But girl, I mean, and also I will say, I've also talked to men that I did not find repulsive, that I really, really liked with money, but they were hoes.
Yeah, and that's, I'll give
what's your experience?
Because every real relationship that I had, I was always the breadwinner. Like, I always made more than my dude at the time. And I felt super empowered by that. I liked it. I was like, oh, yeah, I took care of that. Or like, I liked it.
Yeah.
Then I dated a NBA player that it wasn't like a committed relationship. We like talked and entertained each other for like a series of like 3 months. And I know the difference. I felt super confident about myself when I dated the guys that didn't have the money. And when I dated him, I overthought everything. Like, I was, you know, even something as simple as getting dressed to go over his house. I'm like, what do I wear? And I'm like, I don't want to look like a broke bitch. And I'm like, you know, like,
you're not being as authentic.
Like, where do you want to eat?
Pressure.
Like, pick a place. And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna say where I really want to eat. He might not, like, it might not be nice enough for him. But and I was like, why am I dating somebody who I can't relate to, and who I feel like I have to put on a second face for? Like, and that's what made me realize, like, I'm not about this life. Like, let me just like see ya. It just didn't make me feel comfortable. So I think sometimes too, when you're in a space where you're not good with your bag and you're dating guys who like are well beyond where you are financially, it's gonna create a lot of insecurities and self-doubt that you might not even be aware of until you move on from that guy and you get into your next relationship. So I think it's important to realize, you know, what is it that you really want out of a relationship? Take the filter off, really cleanse your heart and what you're asking God for, and realize that you can get the things that you desire and not want them in such a, what's the word?
Shallow.
Yeah, in like such a shallow way. And at the end of the day, it's all about your confidence. And it's like, if you want to be as confident as you should in a relationship, you need to find somebody that you are equally yoked with. And finances is just one of those things. And it doesn't mean that the amount is the same. It means that your mindset is the same.
Okay.
So on that note, let's cheers to men with and without money.
Okay.
Cheers. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on this episode, and let us know what things you want us to talk about. Until next time.
See you next time.